There we go. So we're live.
Yes.
Welcome everybody to another edition of Ancient Knowledge, where we discuss ancient knowledge. Um, this is Christine. I'm not Christine, but that's Christine right there. Susan and Gerard. How are y'all doing today?
Hi.
I'm doing well.
That's good to hear.
Had a
That's good
nice
to hear.
day.
I hate
I
when people.
cooked very well. I had a very nice dinner. I was very proud. So everybody was so, wow, this was good. I like it when people like my food. I'm really happy. It makes me really happy. So, yeah.
That's awesome. I want to like your food too, so you need to come to America so I can like your
I
food too.
know.
Yeah, I
Um,
will. Yeah, I would love to
what,
cook.
what were you
Yeah.
saying, Susan? Susan said something.
Hmm?
What were you saying? You were saying something.
I don't know.
You know, it's not helpful. Your lips were
I don't.
moving and words
That
were
was
forming.
that was 30 seconds ago. I don't remember.
I think you were starting to say something about what's going on. Something was going on. Something. I don't know, but I mean,
I don't know. Do you
it's
really want to know what's going
2021.
on? Do you really want to know about the
But
satanic, whatever weird energy siphoning vampires run everything and feed off our energy, and every conversation about it just feeds it even more, and it's some weird ass matrixy thing that we're all stuck in, and I can see it and I don't know how to get out of it. Yeah, that's what's going on.
well, it's just so
Okay.
weird. It's so weird to be alive right now because just so much is going on. It's just so weird. Like pretty much everything I thought would never happen is happening.
Yeah, I think we are living in the most exciting time in the universe, I think, because that's what I think. Because we
We
are the
don't know if
ones
we're
who
gonna
will
die.
be born. Hmm?
I say because we don't know if we're gonna die.
Yeah, maybe, yeah, we don't know. We're not thinking about it. But I think, yeah, we're going to transit to the most beautiful time. I
Mhm.
think. I really believe that.
I do too.
I
And
agree with you. You
yeah.
know, like I said, the rainbow is the fact that they've gone too far. That's the beautiful thing is that, it's not a, slowly warming up the tyrannical waters, right? We were the frog in the pot and they cranked that heat high up. And now you've got people who are sick of it. And that's the great thing is that, I suspect that when this is all said and done, people are going to be so pissed off. It's not going to be, no, we're not going to stop you from doing the new stuff you want to do. We're going to pull your power so you will never do anything like this again. Like I said, I
Hmm.
think the entire pharmaceutical industry is going to be remodeled and it's going to go back to something having to do with healing
Hmm.
and no longer just serving as an arm of the state of forcing people and trying to make the master race and you're a part of the master race if you get an injection. If you're not, then you're a second class citizen, which somebody else tried to do. You can't mention the guy's name, but this is we've been here before.
Hmm.
It's just the only thing that's name is it changes the name. This
We've
time
been here
around.
recently. And this isn't even like an Atlantis thing where 12,000 years ago, okay, you don't remember. No, this
Hmm.
was like, hey, I can Google it anytime.
Yeah, but you know what? We have the internet, and if we didn't had that, or we didn't have that, um, then people would not be as weak. So that the good thing about this technology is everybody is able to know what's going on if they want to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
and
so,
and
I
that.
mean, the internet comes, it's their maybe their idea to get us in the matrix, but
Mm,
they didn't see that we all got the knowledge and by just using it. So they didn't foresee that, I believe. I mean, the guys who want us down.
yeah.
So they tricked
Well,
themselves. And that's what I think that's what always happens when they have that they think they're always a step before us, but on the end they got they will be defeated by their own means, their own tools.
yeah, by their own tools. Well, it's when you go too far, you always get set back. And what I was trying to explain, like what John just said right there, which is the medical industry isn't about them, it's about us, right? I mean, where it came from, it came from herbalists and shaman, right? That's where the pharmaceutical industry came from. That's where the doctors came from. It was somebody was sick, we need to help that person. And of course, it's been co-opted, right, by the elite, and now it's used as a means to control the population and make wealth from corporations and things like that. So because it's gone too far down this ignorant greed and power path, that's when it gets reset, right? It gets reset back to its original intent, and that is to save grandma. Not tell grandma what to do, not to lock grandma down, not to tell her not to do some canning, but it'll get reset back to its original intent. And that's healing. Not synthetic drug is the answer for everything, but helping people and doing no harm.
Yeah, it is. And therefore, we can go back to real science, because we have some quotes of Einstein, and then just quotes, and then we can, feel it, have some thoughts about it, because I like them very much. So I will start, and I will say, he said, Einstein, in his life experience, he said, I didn't arrive at my understanding of the fundamental laws of the universe through my rational mind. So it was not by his rational logic that he found his answer of universe. So that's what I get about it. So he said he went to sleep, or if he had a nap, and after his nap he woke up with a new idea. So
yeah,
Tesla said the same thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Tesla, Edgar Casey, Gerard, all the greats, they all said the same thing.
Yeah,
I know, no, seriously. Everyone's experienced it, right? Where you can't solve a problem, but then you go to sleep and you wake up and it's like, oh, the answer's right there. Or, you just need to step away from it and the answer comes to you. We've all done that. And I love what he said, because, how can you understand the universe in the body of a monkey, right? We have the mind of something that evolved on this planet. How in the hell are we supposed to use it to understand the greatness of greatness? It's impossible. You can't understand how an Ovaltine works unless you are actually in the Ovaltine world, right? And the people in the Ovaltine world, which is why they don't give their children Ovaltine. It's just a job. They're just a chemist, or a lot of them that I used to work with. But, from a frame of references,
reptilian vampire.
yeah, exactly. And that's why the people who work for Pfizer, 60% don't take the donuts. It's official. No, they don't have to. They're not obliged to do it. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Well, it's just a job. And people don't understand that. I try to explain that the best that I can. That once you work in these corporations, you don't have a love of Raytheon missiles. You don't have a love of General Dynamic F-16s and bombs. You don't have a love of the technology they're injecting in people. You want to make money. You're in love with that guy at home or that woman at home. You got kids. You got a mortgage. You've got things that you got to buy. And people don't understand that. They're like, oh, well, got a whole industry and all these people who are, they all believe in it. And if there was something wrong, they would say something. No, they wouldn't. No. They're doing a job. They're making a thing. They went to school to be a chemist. It is your job to do your own homework, to ask yourself, are these things safe or not? So anyway, back to Einstein. I appreciate what he said is just, you don't have any frame of reference for understanding the universe. We don't.
No, we don't. Well, we can't. It's
So I want to say Plato, but I don't think it's Plato. But it could have been Plato. But it's one of those guys. He said that men don't have ideas; we only grasp them. Meaning, like all the ideas come from the universe, and we pick up on them or grab onto them. We don't actually have them of our own.
Yeah, we are the receiver. That's one live stream you did long time ago. About the scientists who find out, the real scientists, that we receive it, but we are not, it's not in us, we receive,
Right.
We're just receivers, right? Here in these bodies. I remember that live stream. Oh my gosh, Christine, how long have you been here? I remember that. That was where I had the TVs. It was Bruce Lipton, where he was talking
Yeah,
about
it was a very good one. That's
where,
why I remembered
Wow.
it.
yeah,
That was like the beginning of lockdown.
that was like
20
forever
years
ago. It was another world ago.
That was
but
like
yeah,
23 people years ago. 18 months for everyone else.
Well, so I mean, it's an interesting thing. You go to sleep, and it's almost like you go back to being yourself, and you go through the Akashic records or whatever, and you send yourself messages or signals and how to solve problems, and you wake up and they're there. However it works, it doesn't really even matter. The bottom line is, that's a powerful statement, and there is the beginnings of indicative, data science that show you that is what we are. We don't solve problems. We wake up and they're magically there.
Yeah, and it's very interesting. It makes us humble. It could make us humble if we were aware of it, but
no, that's not gonna do it. That's not gonna do it. No, we need to call people frauds. That's what's gonna make us humble. And when they start popping their collar about how great they are and what they've done and what they've solved and figured out, and they fixed the plumbing in the sink in the kitchen. No, you didn't, dummy. You got it off of YouTube. You grasped the idea from somewhere else, But humility is a wonderful thing. But I don't think we'll get there in that understanding. I think we'll get there by people starting to being told that you're not as smart as you think you are. You're not as great as you think you are. We are powerful creatures, but we exist in a powerful realm, in a powerful universe, which is where all those ideas come from.
Yeah, exactly. And this is a very interesting one. The second one, concerning matter, we have been all wrong. What we have called matter is energy, whose vibrations has been so lowered as to be perceptible to the senses. Matter is spirit, reduced to a point of visibility. There is no matter.
Yeah. So what's scary about that is the post from earlier today. It showed the first, 1917, the first electric cars being charged and all the cables going between them and they're charging them up. And then so when I think about that, I'm just thinking like, wow, like how much was invented and discovered and realized or re-realized, reinvented or rediscovered that keeps getting hidden from us. So what Einstein was explaining was basically, the fact that we know matter doesn't actually exist. It's just energy. And when that energy is in vibrating in a certain frequency, you can actually touch it and see it. But the vast majority of energy, you don't. He explained what most of us are just grasping today or in the last decade or whatever. And it's just like the electric car. We've known about these things, but they seem to get put on a shelf and then brought back. Maybe Einstein was an alien.
He looked like one. It is crazy. Look.
He did actually. He did.
No, he didn't.
Yeah.
Yes, he did. Stop it.
He reminds me of that Groucho Marx dude, right? Yeah, the mustache and the hair.
I liked him.
No, because he looks like he could be an Aryan, right? He had that hair. He's just a very old, ancient Aryan, right? Like the ones that the Germans used to, where they got the plans for making the UFOs and stuff that went to Antarctica, all of that stuff. He could just be a really old, crotchety, Aryan. That's all.
Yeah, and he incarnated in the human body, and he finds them most of the time very stupid. But anyhow, so time and space are not conditions in which we live, but modes by which we think. I don't understand this one, but just again, time and space are not conditions in which we live, but modes by which we think. So,
because we are
time is an illusion created by us to make the matter make sense.
To crunch it and simplify it for the monkey mind, to try to give names and labels and to make things make sense. Amen. Amen. We manifest our realities. We're all gods.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
'cause in the Emerald Tablets, it says, when you use your mind to actually, I guess, ascend, travel, like, he always says it as travel to the stars. There is no time and space.
Mhm.
There is no time and space in the realm of thought when you're connected, I guess, to the higher levels,
Mhm.
vibrations.
Yeah, it all happens at the same time, eh? So
Right.
everything happens at the same time. It's yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
we were saying about space travel or whatever, right? And like you could do it with your mind and telepathically teleport or something like that because it's the fastest form of travel, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, so there's no time and space in that moment. If we believe that that is possible, then there is no time and space because you just put yourself in another time in another place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The example I love is deja vu.
I had
Deja
déjà vu.
vu is
Yeah.
time travel, right? That is the science, the data
Yeah.
that everybody, the research project that everybody's engaged in, where they actually saw the future, right? So we know in that moment, time did not exist. So time doesn't actually exist. It's a construct we create to, like you said, to make this weird place of wave energy everywhere make sense to us.
Yeah, yeah, I remember such a strong déjà vu. I was in India, and suddenly I remembered I was sitting here at another time, at the same rock, at the same place. It came totally to me. So it was like kind of wow,
Right.
kind of a déjà vu. Yeah, déjà vu.
Yeah,
Really.
you're a time traveler. We
Yeah.
just don't
Anyone
know
who
how
has
we do it.
Yeah, because it's actually like a memory from an earlier
Mhm.
time, but you weren't really there. You were there with your thoughts.
Yeah. Mhm.
So, ooh, now you can jack my brain up a little bit now, because now I'm just wondering. This is like a VHS tape. I'll say Betamax because Betamax was just better because we had Betamax. This movie is already played. It's
Mhm.
already done. We're
Yes.
literally just going back and we're watching our favorite parts. We wanted to go back to 2021 because it was interesting. Some things happened and we just rewind the tape and we're watching it, but we are familiar with, we remember what happened before. We remember what happened in
Oh, yeah.
the future, which doesn't exist because this is all played out. This is literally a database, if not a cassette tape, where we're just picking and choosing what stories and what place to be, but time isn't a real thing.
Yeah, it's kind of a yeah, very extraordinary actually because that's why I think we have to be quite aware what we think because I think what we think brings us where we sometimes don't want to be or sometimes where we want to be because the thought is very powerful.
Well,
Now you're jacking my brain up. Hold on. Because listen, you know how when you think about somebody, they call you. That happens so much to me. It's crazy. When I think about people, they'll send me a message or something. So what if our thoughts drive where we are on the cassette tape? That we're literally attracting things to us. Like when you hate somebody and you can't stop hating on them and then, and all that drama and the craziness, you're actually pulling that person to you, or you're fast forwarding the tape or you're bringing them into the storyline because you're constantly focused and thinking about them.
Yeah.
And it's one of the universal laws of attraction.
Yeah.
What you think about, what the energy you put out, the actions you create,
that's what you get back.
it attracts back, right?
Yeah. You have to be on the same if you want some level from mind, emotional and spiritual. If you're on the same line, on the high line, you manifest heaven. So it's all the teaching actually in Japan. I did once Japanese yoga. There were Japanese people, and they had a very strong training in about focusing your mind and your heart and your spirit on one thing, so that you go beyond your thinking, which might go wrong. So because if you focus on the same thing, it just happens, And they were very, very good in it. Very good in it. Extremely. Yeah, they're like Asian people. They are very focused and they are not distracted, so they could do it very well. It was actually very interesting, and they just showed some examples. And also in thinking, we had to think about someone or something, and then that person repeated it, or someone else, and then it worked actually very well, because you had the whole week training in focus, mind, heart, and spirit and emotion on the same level, and then you get really telepathic.
Mhm.
You really get telepathic.
So you said, go ahead. No,
Yeah.
I cut you off like 5 times.
Yeah. So if you train, if you have to focus, has to be on the same line, otherwise it's distraction. But if you're emotional and mental and spiritual on the same level, and you train that, you get trained, and other people also, then if you think about something, I mean, from the heart, and it's mental and it's correct, and you can pick that up from other people. You pick that up in some way.
So I just wanted to say, because when we were talking about the time thing, everything happening at once, and right, and repeating it over and over again, that's where I think that whole so fate and destiny are the things that dictate like the life on this planet or whatever, and the zodiac wheel is, you know, a circle, and Thoth says, you know, you have to learn how to move in curves instead of angles. And I think, like, yes, we are kind of doomed to repeat this stuff over and over again, but we don't have to. I think that's the lesson.
Yeah, but then you have to overcome the karma, but but the thing is, you have to be in a higher frequency, otherwise it doesn't work.
Right. Like, I think the whole, like, the rune of the weird that I was telling you about, and it's angles, right? And then even the pyramids, which I really like Egypt, so I hope they're not bad, but even the pyramids, right, they're built on these angles and to mimic the whole mass of earth and everything. And Thoth is saying, no, you got to move in curves, not angles. And I don't know, I just think it's all connected somehow, and we have to figure it out.
yeah, it is, but it's hard to
it's too much for my brain to handle. I only comes
everything is, but the universe is everything is.
My God has Tourette's, and he just sends in some discombobulated thoughts.
We're not designed to understand it, right? We're not designed to figure it out. We don't even have the tools. Like Einstein said earlier, you're not going to understand the universe, you know, with this. Scripture says it, right? You have a finite mind, and the mind of God, universe, soul, whatever, is infinite. And, you know, and I was just thinking about it, like, you know, if I wanted to hold a species back that were a spiritual, vibrational creature, I would just invent science, right? Because what is science? Science is based on things you can measure and data, right? And doing research. But if we don't have the technology to measure the energy, then it can't exist, right? So if we can't measure thought, then it can't exist. The results of it can't exist. It means that you will never discover what you really are if you continue to say, I'm with science. That means you are with ignorance. It means that you are literally beholden to the hardware and technology of the time, and the ability to diagnose and understand the world is based on what hardware devices and sensors have gotten created thus far. I would definitely do that. Like that's how you hold a species back, is you make them ignorant. You give them science, right? And it's not to say science is a bad thing. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that when you put all your eggs in one basket, you can expect all your eggs to get broken if that basket drops. And that's really where we are today. And that's what quantum physics did. Quantum physics destroyed the basket. It made us realize that physics isn't really physics, it's physics-ish. Biology isn't biology, it's biology-ish, right?
Yeah, that experiment with that little ball, and it reacted on, with another thought becoming between. There is an experiment I did in quantum physics. I cannot explain it, but it was like quite extremely interesting, because something, it picked up the thought and it changed its direction. I don't know how to explain it, but he explained it well. It's in the bloop. What is it? The bloop? There is
You're talking about the double slit experiment, the experiment where when we actually look at the experiment, we change the results of it.
Yes.
That there are no results until we measure it, that we literally manifest a result happening. So, you know, if a tree falls in the woods and nobody's around, does it make a sound? Well, the answer is, if the tree is alone, no, it doesn't. If there's a rock, if there's some insects or people, then yeah, it makes a sound. But until something gets measured, the thing doesn't actually exist. And so that's what the double slit experiment talked about. Was it didn't need a person measuring it. It needed anything measured. As long as it's interacting, if the wave is interacting with something else, then it exists. But if it doesn't, then there is no results. It doesn't exist.
Okay, now I understand that. Thanks for explaining. I never understood it. I couldn't. Now I understand. Thanks.
Alan Watts says that if a tree, noise doesn't exist. Noise is sound is just a vibration. It has to have something to hear the sound in order for it to be sound, right?
Yeah.
It has to cancel out, right? Like we did this in geometry or trigonometry. I forgot which one. I hated school. And my kids hate school too, so we're all on the same wavelength. I'm not one of those parents that, hey, school is great. No, it's stupid. It actually is really stupid, but you got to go anyway. Take your butt there. get some good grades. But if, you know, the wave exists, right, and the wave is just going until it meets something else on its frequency that can cancel it out. Until then, it doesn't exist. And so things are just happening all over, all around us. But the things that actually exist in our realm are the things that are at the frequency we are that will cancel out with us.
Yeah, that's very interesting. But that also says a big responsibility for us. If we are high frequencies, we meet the high things that can happen, which are probably much more magic, much more positive, much more loving. That's what I understand. So, yeah, wow. Another thing here, he says, physical concepts are free creations of the human mind and are not. However, it may seem determined by the external world. So again, physical concepts are free creations of the human mind and are not. However, it may seem determined by the external world.
What?
So they are and they aren't. Physical things are and aren't our manifestations, but it doesn't matter because the rest of the world sees them and they all think that it's real anyway.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, determined by the external world. Yeah, because
that's again about the media again.
It's again the same as the matter. When you label it, it does exist for you, but when you're not, like you said, when you didn't meet it, it has no meaning. So that's the same. I think it's
and to a degree, you know, you have to, like how I picture things, like this is Gerard's brain. That's Einstein. This is Gerard. That's Einstein. That's Gerard. That's Einstein. Like, we're not supposed to understand all of these things. I'm just happy that sometimes I can scratch the surface of kind of understanding what some of these people are saying.
Yeah.
Right, but Einstein said Tesla was the smartest person.
Yeah.
And Tesla totally disagreed with his law of gravity.
Yeah, he did, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe he
I'm more on the side of Tesla. Because not Einstein, but I'm telling you, there's something with, because, you know, the Genesis Bible, God's face moved upon the waters, right? So that's air, right? And air molecules heated up. What's that? That's lightning, air and fire, boom, creates life. I'm with Tesla.
Yeah. Well, and this is why Tesla wasn't discussed in school, which is another reason why I hate school. They don't update the books. The books are still outdated from 20 years ago, right? Tesla's not mentioned, the smartest man of our everything. I want to hit
And also
John's comment real quick. John wants
and
my
in the-
truck.
okay.
He said, he said, if physical things aren't real, why don't you give me your truck? It's not real. No one's saying it's not real, John. What we're saying is we manifest these things. And unfortunately, we're slaves to this environment. And if I knew how to do this and have a new truck, you'd have my truck. But I have not figured out how to do that yet. I'm meditating each morning. I've gotten back into doing yoga. And as soon as I figure out how I manifested this truck, I'm going to manifest a truck for John, and he'll have a truck too.
Oh, you know what that just reminded me of, right? Because I was like, actually, none of this is real if we're just thought and energy, right? So really, right? But then again, I was like, but bacon's real. And then I was like, oh my God, that scene in The Matrix. Well, I know the steak's not real, but it tastes good. I'll stay here.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? And so that gives me a question. What is good anyway? Like, why do we think bacon tastes good? And what I think is we don't actually give a damn about bacon. But when we're babies, we're like looking at our parents for responses, right? Like all the studies into babies and how they look at you and they determine what's good and bad from what they see in their mother. When the mother eats it, you know, it's good. And then the baby picks up on that, right? Like, oh, that's good, right? When mom is scared, then the baby's scared. Why? Because the dog is barking. And so now the dog barking makes the baby scared. And so a lot of things, you know, and this is just a part of our weird little slavery matrix. You know, why do we think things are good and bad? Because when we were neutral as babies, we were around people who thought those things were good or bad.
Yeah, that's true. But that's conditioning. We are, and that we have to unwire and receive from a higher source to get, to manifest what we really want to manifest. Yeah. And another thing he says, okay, the distinction between the past, present, and future is only a stubbornly persistent illusion. It's again about time. Yeah.
About time.
It doesn't exist.
So, and then he says, I think 99 times.
We think it does. I think it only exists like in the physical world. Time.
Yeah, we have to, because otherwise everything is getting is getting chaotic. I mean, I think we're not able.
Brains can only handle matter if we have time.
Well, so let's go back to the Betamax example, right? If you didn't have a Betamax player that would play the tape in a certain order at a certain speed, then what use is the tape? Right?
Yeah,
the tape has no use. So we literally had to create time. So all of these records actually have meaning, you know, and to my understanding, that was a lecture I heard also about gravity, that we have to have gravity. Otherwise, everything would just be floating around. Like it gives order to existence and frequency so that we can interact with it. You know, are we here to learn things and experience things? If there was no order, then it would just be like looking at a tape on the ground. Everything's just sprawled around. It would be useless. We can't learn from that.
Yeah. So he says, I think 99 times and find nothing. I stop thinking, swim in silence, and the truth comes to me. So
back to the first quote.
Again,
It's not us. Back to the first quote. It's not us. We are not geniuses. We're not that smart. We're either in another realm as soul or spirit or other dimensions, handing our dumb monkey selves these ideas and thoughts and how to solve problems. But there's nothing new. How does that scripture go? There's nothing new under the sun.
New under the sun.
You didn't make anything. You didn't make anything. It was already here. It's already been done before.
There's nothing new under the sun. Yeah. So, and then he says, the intellect has little to do on the road to discovery. There comes a leap in consciousness, call it intuition or intuition. How do you call it? I always said it wrong. Yeah, intuition. or what you will. The solution comes to you and you don't know how or why. That's again the same, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think he said something before. It was either him or Tesla said imagination is more important than
Yes.
intelligence. And
Yeah.
what else did he say? I forget.
But he says there comes a leap in consciousness, call it intuition or what you will. The solution comes to you and you don't know how or why. Or, yeah.
Yeah. You know, and if you think about it, right? Like we say wise, okay? And most of us go right away to somebody who knows a lot of stuff and, you know, read all these books and whatever, right? But there are people that don't even know how to read, that because they have finely tuned intuition, they are wiser than the, you know, Nobel
Yeah, true.
Prize.
Then the full mind of intellect knowledge, which is crap knowledge we put in our mind. So we our receiver doesn't work very well after all the school education. So it's full of
Right.
that. I think because children, they can be so sharp in their wisdom, they can say something, wow, because they're still open-minded,
Right.
and we are too much conditioned in some way. And but Einstein was a rebel from small to till he died. So he never accepted anything from what other people told. That's why he becomes so original and so authentic. That's how we have to be. Don't accept anything.
Yeah, and we always say like Native Americans and how wise they are and how wise they were and stuff like that. Yeah, and you know what? They lived simply and they had no like real knowledge of how we all lived in society, civil society, yet they were wiser than anyone in civil society.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the difference between kids who go to school, public school, private school, and kids who homeschool. Right?
Yeah,
They're not walking down this chain of intelligence where this has to equal this, and we came about this by this, and we figured out this because of this. And you know, there are only so many routes you can go after you accept, and you didn't experiment yourself, you didn't figure it out yourself, you didn't fall, you know, there's only so many paths you can go after that. And so all those kids tend to think alike. You know, but kids who were raised outside or homeschooled, they have completely different thought processes. I mean, there are different pathways the brain makes, right? Different, dendrite connections and spider webs of know-how, because they actually had to do it from a construct from the beginning, as opposed to sitting in a class, given a book and just told that this is just how it is. And so this is why kids who are homeschooled are smarter. I hate to tell you this, but they are. All the kids who are homeschooled versus me being in public school, they're all smarter than I am, right? Because when you're a child, your brain evolves based on the tasks at hand that it must solve. And if everything's solved for us because it's written in a book and we're just getting it out the book, you know, then we're you know, only as smart as where we started kind of learning for ourselves after that. So to me, you know, when I hear that, that's what I kind of think of, is that, you know, and this is why I don't like certification. I don't like to go to anybody's class and get certified in anything. I want to hear that, okay, it's possible.
That's
you know, that you can do this. Okay. So I like that. I need the basis of how it's done, but I want to go do it myself. I want to develop my own methodology. I want to do it my own way. I want to fall and come up with my own processes. And that's how you make something that's better.
But my guru said also, I don't want teachers, we had schools, I don't want anyone with certification of teachers, they cannot teach in my school. I want other people. I want a housewife, I want this and this, they can teach. And that is what happened. I mean, and those children, they learn so much better because we don't have that construct from, we have to teach this and this and this. No, we teach from ourselves, from our heart, and from what we figured out and they learn to think independently. So
there's a lot of scripture discussion going on in the chat room. So I don't know. Lot of scripture.
I took it off the screen when I started reading it.
It's too much. It's too much.
This is Montez. Look, we can't even see Susan. We can't even see her. Where's Susan go, Christine? She gone. You see a forehead and a part and some hair. That's all. This is Montez. This brother got knowledge after knowledge after book after knowledge. And so I can't put them all on the screen. I try to go through them as fast as I can. Look, Susan might be back. She ain't got a body. See, Montez took her whole body.
Okay.
No,
okay.
no, no.
I like to keep it more simpler, actually, because like Einstein says it's
little popping up and down behind us.
Yeah.
You know, I like to keep things simple when it comes to scripture. It's just, I remember this, is that I always remind myself there were millions upon millions of ancient scriptures, and the vast majority were either burned up in the Library of Alexandria, or they've been taken to the Vatican and they refuse to let us read them. And so I don't really get into any debates or discussions about ancient scriptures, because there's a reason why they keep the significant ones from us, to keep us debating each other over the things that probably don't have the meaning they're supposed to, because we're missing the critical parts of it.
Yeah. Even my like I read something, or I heard, even my guru says that they kept the story of Adam and Eve hidden. My guru said it.
Yeah, the real story. Yeah. Well, look up the declassified Adam and Eve story. You always have to kind of send people back to that. And let me apologize real quick to Montez. Let me apologize. No, I don't apologize, Montez. Not your bad. You are following your unique path. Do not stop. Please don't stop from anything that comes out of my mouth. Keep going your way.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
But we cannot.
No, I just don't want anyone to change because of something I say. You know, if you want to change something, then change something. But we're here all to share. You know, and he posts amazingly deep stuff here and there. Some things are a little too long. I can't read them, so I'm just making jokes. That's all.
Yeah, it's interesting, but you need to read it and read it and read it again. It's okay. So the next thing, a human being experiences himself, his thoughts and feelings as something separated from the rest, a kind of optical delusion of consciousness. This delusion is a kind of prison for us, restricting us to our personal desires and to affection for a few persons nearest to us. Our task must be to free ourselves from this prison by widening our circle of compassion to embrace all living creatures and the whole of nature in its beauty. That's what you always teach, right, Gerard?
I don't teach it. I take it from smart. Again, Gerard's mind, Einstein. Gerard, Einstein. Right? Because, you know, it is.
No, but you say it many times. You love everybody. You include everyone. That's
where the ancient teachers get it from, right? You know, they understand that the conflict is artificial, right? All the problems on this planet, they're all fake. They're all artificial. They give us things we call problems, but they want us to have. You don't have Democrat and Republican leadership unless you got ignorant people fighting each other. You don't have conservatives and liberals unless you got ignorant people fight. You don't have blacks and whites unless you got people willing to be, you know, judgmental about your fur, right? You know, they literally, what holds us back mainly is the fact that we can't love everybody the way we love ourselves. We refuse, and when I say we as a group, as a human race, not as individuals. We refuse to open our circle up to love everything and everybody. Because once you do, then things go the way they're supposed to. I think that is the original design of this planet, and the life that was brought here or evolved here is because when you follow your passion and you have respect and love for all like equal sovereigns, there is no violence. There is no conflict. It's not a utopia, but it's damn sure a lot closer than where we are today. Hating people because they were born in China, willing to let people die because they were born in Afghanistan, you know, willing to turn your back on someone because they were born in Mexico. When we get rid of these ignorant ideas of, oh, I love you because you're familiar. I care about you because I know you. People I don't know, I don't give two damns about, you know, and that's what I get from that. What Einstein said is that when you are bigger than your birth, when you are bigger than the ignorant, which is ignorant, the ignorant small circle of people who you live around, because you live in Tupelo, Mississippi. When you get out of Tupelo, Mississippi, your world changes. Then you start to develop love for everyone, and so that's what I take from that.
Yeah, my guru also says you have one body, and there's all different parts, and they don't protest each other. They don't say, "Oh, I don't like the nose." The mouth doesn't say, "I don't like the eye." They work all together to make your body function, and we are same as the humans are in one body. And if you would work all together, you would be a very beautiful, earth. So, because he says this finger is not going to be angry at that finger, and on the contrary, when something is going wrong in one part of the body, whole the body does all the effort to cure that naturally, to cure that part which is damaged. That happens spontaneously. So he said you should be like that. All the world should go, when somebody is hurting, you should go there and solve that problem. So like the body does.
The body is united, right? A house divided against itself will fall. And that's another ancient scripture.
Yeah.
And when you're divided against your species, you're divided against your ecosystems and the planet that you need, you think that you need to get a quick fix and get injected with something that will defy nature instead of, stop eating donuts and sugar and things that allow your body to not fight off the common cold. You're going to die. You're divided against yourself, right? When you're divided against your ecosystem, your species, your environment, you don't get to make it. You're going to die. And so this is why I call it total ignorance. When we're at conflict with ourselves, it's like you said, the left fist is fighting the right cheek and the right fist is fighting. And this is what we look like to aliens. We're just kind of beating ourselves up because we can't seem to realize that we're all connected and we're all one and we only survive by each other.
Yep.
Well, when you said divided against yourself or whatever within yourself, like by eating bad stuff or whatever, and society, teaches us to hate each other, but it teaches us to hate ourselves also. Like
that's the important part.
You don't think that you hate yourself. In your subconscious, you've been told you evolved from a monkey, and that you just like recycle back to the earth, and this is life, work, eat, sleep. You know what I mean? Like we're taught to hate ourselves. We're not taught like we're special and we have capabilities beyond our understanding. If you know what I mean, we're not taught any of that. And then we're taught if you're too love yourself, then you're selfish ego asshole.
Yeah, true.
And it's like, so that's and when we're always like, you got to get back to the center. Like I say all the time, for the collective to heal, we have to be individuals.
Yeah.
We have to be like, you know what? If everybody thinks I'm an idiot and an asshole, then whatever, because I'm okay with myself. You know what I mean? You got to really be like that. And that's how we heal. We have to heal ourselves before anyone else is healed.
Yeah, it's a relationship they make. They say when you love yourself, it means that you hate others or you think you're better than others, and that's not true.
It's not.
You have to love yourself. But like you said, it's designed this way. They know exactly what they're doing. It's why they have an education system. They know exactly what they're doing.
That's actually we're torturing ourselves all the time, because by indoctrination we are taught we cannot do anything good. So that's from the beginning. Always you feel guilty or guilty or guilty or guilty. It's like whole life. You go to school, you did something wrong or you didn't know, and then how can you be so stupid? You go to church and you do something wrong. Get out of the church. It's always like that from child on. It's like and I remember pictures when I was like really young, and I look at the pictures. What the hell am I doing on this earth? And you see my eyes. What is this here? I will show them next time. I was thinking, oh yeah, I must have been. What am I doing in this earth? So like always like, what is this? Actually, and actually it is like that. Nothing. I mean, that's the indoctrination, that we don't know how powerful we are. Actually, that's actually the meaning. We are very powerful.
Because like, okay, a lot of us say God and goddesses or whatever, right? But if we believe that we're all pieces of God, right? Somehow tied to the universe, and that we were made in
We
his
are.
image, right? And we're made in his image, right? And
Yeah.
all our thoughts come from outside and into our minds, right? And then, you know, God dwells in the temple, right? These are our temples. So then, and if we actually believed and knew that we were godlike, you wouldn't treat godlike
Yeah.
people the way we
Mm.
treat each other.
Yeah,
We
true.
wouldn't treat ourselves that
Yeah.
way if we really believed
Yeah.
that we were godlike. And that's why they're like, oh, you're just little monkey.
Actually, that is what Jesus promised. You will be do greater things. They want us to become godlike next to them, like the dates you already on that
Right.
level. They read my guru also says, why don't you I can create universe of universe of universe. You should be able to create universe after universe, every creation. That is what you're capable to. That is what humans are has that privilege. I mean that privilege. They are capable to it, but they go always the other direction.
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah,
you just
so
reconfirmed once again that I get a universe if I make it the hell out of here.
And she said you should not
Tonight,
age,
people.
because I didn't know that she said that, because I just read it. You should not age. You could stay forever young. See, so good, Gerard. You're 29. You're close to her teaching.
hey, my universe is going to be simple. This is going to be simple. You know, everybody's 29. Nobody dies. You know, we're just going to go. For a moment, I was thinking about Susan's universe. And I was just like, you would never get used to it. It would never, because Susan, the way her mind is, you see mermaids swimming and aliens that fly by. You see minotaurs running around. The Greek gods come in. And Thor start throwing some stuff. Vikings show up. Like, it's always going to be something going on in her universe. So, yeah, I know, but I need a vacation sometime. I need a break. I can't have all kind of tridents flying everywhere all the damn time. Pyramids going up everywhere. So, no. So what was beautiful, what you said was that, and this is why they put us in the monopoly game called economics, right? They put us in a fantasy game of collecting things that are all free. Paying for things that are all free on a planet that's full of resources and land where everything is free. But they force you into this system where eventually you accept that you're livestock, right? You're just a monkey. You're useless like everybody else. And then that's the only way you get people to go along with the idea that, well, I'll give you my monkey children, my livestock children, so you can inject things in them and change their DNA. I'll go along with you hurting my neighbor. You know, you're hurting me because you don't have a face diaper on your face, right? They convince people, they bring people to such a low vibe existence where they treat each other like they're livestock and farm animals, and they're okay with the government treating you like your livestock and farm animals. And to me, that's the danger in teachings like this, right? It's the danger in spirituality and realizing that, yeah, like Susan said, if you're a god, hell no, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to embarrass you. I'm not going to trip you. I'm not going to abuse you. And I'm damn sure not going to go along with a political party or government willing to do that to you. You know, you'll treat each other with love and respect, and you're curious as to what they know and what they can teach you, right? So you can raise your level and your vibration. This is why I always go back to Bob Marley when I love how he said, you got to raise the vibration. You know, that's it. What do? Raise the vibration. That's what you do. Yeah. Raise your vibration. Don't engage in low vibe activities with these colonizers and authoritarians and these psychopathic billionaires. Raise your vibration and vibrate that out to other people.
Yeah. And just real quick about the, you know, if we're godlike, you know, if we're really gods or whatever, or at least godlike. In the Egyptian Book of the Dead, when King Pepi I goes to the halls of Amenti, the first question they ask him is, have you eaten any other gods? Which to me meant like, you know, well, reptilians, but like reptilian
you eat reptiles?
Reptilian because I'm pretty sure, and they can, yeah, they're not real, they're not human. I know that much. But yeah, anyway, they ask him if he eats any other gods, and he's a human, right? He's a human king. So I took it as like any other humans. Did you eat any other gods? Because that was the first law from Thoth. You just can't eat each other. And I think it has something to do with the whole reptilian, lower vibrational things. And that's all our politicians are infected with that thing and whatever. But I'm just saying, if it's in the ancient text, it had to happen at some point.
Yeah, probably. But the Nagas, they are the different kinds. You get the Rakshasas, you get in the Vedas, there are different kind of those kind of creatures. And
But that's what I'm saying. Vedas, Emerald Tablets, Egyptian Book of the Dead, Tibetan Book of the Dead, and in South America they talk about them. So yeah, they're real.
Question.
Yeah.
Now that we got somewhere, now it's time to stir the pot a little bit. Are dogs gods? Are cats gods? Are cows gods? Are elephants gods? And you know where I'm going with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, is that we eat?
Is Susan's bacon a god? That's what I want to know. That delicious bacon.
All over the Bible that you eat pork, you're going to hell. So sorry.
Hey, but we started.
Just a question. It's just I'm stirring the pot a little bit. Everybody, do what you want to do, and you can answer the question if you want. I mean, in my opinion,
my idea is, not mine idea, an idea that we come from the amoeba, the thing, and we evolve. We become a little fish, and then we become another animal, and we become human being. And dogs, they can reincarnate in a human being, and so they can evolve also, but. Otherwise, also because nobody knows that, or we cannot have kind of a decent life. We can incarnate back in an animal to learn what it is. Animals, they never go against themselves. They do what they have to do, and they are actually very gentle among themselves most of the time. Unless when they are educated by human beings, they learn bad behavior. But normally in the wild, they are. Unless they have to be mean, a snake has to. I don't know, but they always do what they have to do. They cannot do anything else. They are like controlled by Shiva. Shiva controls the animals, so they always act like they have to act. So they learn what they know very well the harmony in the system in the nature. So they do what they have to do. And if humans are too much far away from what is natural, they reincarnate back in an animal because they have to learn from animals again. Much more. Even we always have to learn from animals, but if you're really totally too much away from it, you reincarnate back in an animal. And that's what my guru said. So she said, better take care of your evolution. I mean, that maybe for some people it's better to be, I think, anyhow. So
I'm going with Gerard. 7 billion different people, 7 billion different realities. My reality is I can eat some meat sometimes.
Yeah, okay, you can eat. That is good. I'm not saying you don't have to eat meat.
Well, I don't think anybody said anything, right? I don't think that. Unfortunately, I think I'm surrounded by people that don't tell each other what to do. You know, we share information, and people can tell themselves what to do. I struggle with whether or not a fly is a god. Okay, that's where I'm at. Okay, I kill 100 of them a day, easy. I was trying to kill that one right there.
I think it's a matter of like you have to have some kind of mutual like basis of love, respect for all life. But for us to exist in the matter, to exist on Earth, we have to be in conflict with Earth because we can only survive in these physical bodies if we use what is provided for us by Earth.
Yeah, you can eat meat.
You rip out a plant and eat it. It's the same thing. A plant is life. It's alive.
Yeah, a plant can talk to you. I mean, you talk to plants.
No.
No, but you're in tune with plants. You too.
So if I can say it another way, I mean, to exist here, you have to consume energy, right? So to me, I don't think that's really at war with Earth. Yeah, I don't think it's at conflict with Earth. I mean, you have to consume energy, or you die, or you die. You are energy, and you have to put energy in. I think a lot of these things are rules of the game, right? In different ways, and we all play the game differently. But at the end of the day, you know, energy can't be destroyed. So it's not just hashtag, you know, you're going to die, or hashtag the animals die. Nothing actually dies.
No,
right?
that's true.
It just that energy is consumed. It's, you know, it's reevaluated, reshaped form, whatever. You know, so where Thulf is going with that, I don't know. You know, and that's why I don't claim to know. I don't, you know, y'all know I'm a vegetarian, but you know, I murdered a tomato earlier today. It was looking delicious. That damn tomato, it was just red. It was looking at me. And it's all just something about growing tomatoes out here. They just got an extra little kick of bitterness. I love it.
Yeah.
I had to
But
murder that thing.
it seems to be, that's a very, very funny thought, they want to be eaten.
Well, so here's the, and this is where I'm going with this. It's not a game, but it's a simulation, right?
Yeah.
Our minds are simulating, you know, vibrational patterns, and it's being represented as a tomato, it's being represented as a cow or some bacon or whatever. We're here to learn, right? The universe is here because it's learning from us being here. So we're engaging and we're living that. And if you feel the need that you shouldn't eat tomatoes, then you shouldn't eat tomatoes. If you feel the need that maybe you probably shouldn't be eating cows, then you probably shouldn't be eating cows. Like, I believe that you should go with your intuition, you know, but, you know, once again, this is back to the point of, you know, respecting each other as the gods the gods that they are, and share information, and then let the gods make their own minds up.
Yep. Yeah, and real quick, just conflict doesn't necessarily mean like boots on the ground, America's here to save you. Conflict.
No, that's called democracy. That's not conflict. That's called saving lives and winning hearts and minds and souls and loving other people. That's what that's called.
Yeah, because Jordan Peterson said something that like really made me look at the word in a different way, right? Because like we're always like right now, especially in this society, it's like nobody can be offended and everybody has to think the same, right? Well, nothing new is created when everything is the same. Like there has to, the greatest ideas come from two conflicting ideas.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean? Like so
it's like energy, like electricity.
It's energy, yes.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
Otherwise it's boring, I think. It's like if man and woman are the same, that it's no use. You don't learn anything. That's why there is always difference. We have to be totally different beings to be. That's interesting, and that makes life, and that makes energy. It gives dynamism.
Well, now there's.
I don't want to make robots of us. What?
I said now there's 72 different genders to learn from. So now fine.
You know what? I end that on there's 7 billion different genders, and I'm done with it. I really don't care what people are.
I don't care
you
either.
Know, you can be a Bigfoot, you can be a mermaid, you know, you could be a dingling. I really don't care what your identity, who you are, you know. Just love each other, right? Be a decent person. You know, don't abuse other people. And I think that's hopefully that's the level we're getting at into this new world that we're going into.
Yeah, but, and because my point is do whatever you want, but nobody has to accept you or like you. Like I could be like, oh my God, this person's an ass. I don't ever want to see them again, but I still have love in my heart for them, and I want good things to happen to him, and like hopefully he has a good life, wish nothing bad. But it doesn't mean I have to like him or let him around me or be like, hey kids, this guy's great. Like I don't have to do any of that.
Yeah. Well, love people in the simulation, but you don't have to interact with them in the simulation.
No.
You know, completely.
It's only it's only a pity when they force children to. I mean, they come home crying and they say, "I'm a boy. I can be a boy or a girl." It was really literally happened, and a girl wants to be a girl. I'm not a boy. I'm a girl. I mean, if school starts to do things, I find it actually that's I don't mind if a 21 years old say I'm
Yeah.
a mermaid, I'm this, I'm that. I don't mind, but children from 3, 4 years old or 5 years, if they start saying you don't know that you're a girl or you don't know that you're a boy,
No.
they get totally confused, and that's painful for me to see
Yes.
those children.
And that's part of the conditioning of hating yourself, because I don't even know what I am with my own eyes telling me what I am. That's psychologically damaging. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the wrong. I don't like. Yeah.
On a whole nother level that we didn't even go through. So imagine
No,
how screwed
we
up
already
that
don't
is.
know ourselves. Yeah, and then they getting more confused and more confused
Right.
and more confused, so that you totally are 100% powerless.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna say it another way. You might have a dick, but you don't have to be a dick.
Yeah,
That's really what it comes down to,
yeah.
right? You you have an anus, but you ain't got to be an anus,
Fine.
right?
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
we have you have these skin colors, you got this hair, you got this, whatever, but you don't actually have to be that, You're just, which is kind of back to the point. And and we got to wrap this up. It's been an hour, but
Yeah.
that we are signals, right?
Hmm.
We are inhabiting human beings. We are walking around Earth in these little monkey machines. And either you're going to make your life about the little stupid machine that they put you in,
It's tough.
Hmm.
or you're going to make your life about something significant. You're going to make your life about your passions, or you're going to make life about collecting things and wealth and things you can't take with you.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
that's my last word.
That's we should not identify with outside things. We are energy, we are love, we're spirit.
Yeah.
That's all we are.
Whatever happens at the moment of your death, you're not taking anything from this physical world with you. So, I don't know, put that into perspective, priorities.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
But you carry your deeds onto the next one, and your soul, and what your soul aligned with while here.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's the role of darkness. Is to
Yeah,
keep
probably.
people so preoccupied with things that don't matter at all, that them being here never mattered.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the fight of darkness. If we're here to interact and cancel each other's waves and interact with things with our frequencies, then darkness would just want to stop that, right? Its goal is to stop that learning of universe through stopping the interactions that actually matter and give us interactions that have no meaning at all.
Yeah, and it's weird that you say that, because what is it? Crap. Oh, I think it's the Hermetica said something about, like, I'm gonna say enlightenment, but that wasn't the word used, but like only a very few will actually know Adam, and a lot will be like not erased but forgotten. There's very few men whose names will be remembered.
Yeah, true.
Makes sense. They will not sing songs of you because you never got into battle. You never fought.
Because you ate donuts.
You never.
Yeah, true. It's true.
You never did anything great. You came here.
That's why people who did something very useful for humanity, they remember to all ages, but most people are not remembered. But the people, many are remembered. She said something about I don't know which person, and she said he was very, very important, but his wife was a very annoying, my guru, very annoying kind of woman. Nobody remembers her, she said, you see? She was comparing. So she picks many times on women too, because it's just, you should do more. If men become like they are now, she said, it's because of the women. You should nourish the women. Have all the kind of the start maybe could be like that, but she also says the man has become like like animals, because they're like rude, but she says the start is if the women doesn't nourish them, or feed them and educate them very well, or with love, and be patient. Patience is very important for her. Then you can guide more the man, because she says women can do better than men. That's because they're designed to do. But if they don't do it, then men become like demons and women become weak. And that's actually what happened in our society. As in Indian society, the women was more respected, now maybe not. They kept very long, much more longer traditions and their high level of spirituality, because the women has much more power to bear and she has the wisdom, which is more centered. So she lets the men do what they do, but they guide the man in more like an invisible way. Like a Western woman would say, don't do this, don't do that. Like don't you make the floor dirty. An Indian would not say, but Indian would say, oh, you must be so tired, you forget to put out your shoes. Come here, I will give you some cup of coffee. That is how Indian women traditionally treated their men. But Western women became too manly and they go too much in the confrontation, while a man should go in confrontation, but the women should not. Women should more use this way, but honest and not cunning. And a man should go in confrontation. So that's the masculinity and the femininity. I don't know, I explain it not as well as she does, because when she does explain it, you accept it more. But now it feels like, I don't know. But I can understand that kind of thinking, because I know some couples who are like that, who are very Western and more Indian-like. And I don't mean Indian also suppressed. I mean, they're also like the very aggressive men and very undermined, women who are undermined in their self-confidence. That is everywhere. But in general, when you have a good example, like an average example, there is different, and you see that. But now it's also gone.
I wouldn't say culturally. I would say more just healthy. If someone's like a healthy,
but it was also like that before.
Masculine.
Yeah,
right.
Like my mothers of like, they also did treat it differently. She also said. She said to me, "Yeah, why are you go so right straight away in confrontation?" My mother said to me, "You will never be married." Not married. So I had to learn that. I mean, she said in the beginning I was more like that. I was like straightforward, maybe not rude or something, and she said, "No, you have to do it." Yeah, she knows how to deal with my father. And she said to me, "You will never marry if you keep on doing so." Okay, she's right. But anyhow,
I'm gonna have to say, I'm not gonna touch that with a 10-foot pole, because that's the kind of thing that gets you slapped in this country. That's one. Two, if I sweep the floor, don't make me a cup of coffee. I can make my own damn coffee. That is not what men want from women. That's number two. Number three, I kind of look at things from a, I try. All right, let me go back. I process things from the perspective of everyone's got their own perspective, right? And their perspective is based on their culture, where they grew up, what they dealt with. And there's knowledge and wisdom in what everybody has to say if you're willing to find it and not get offended. And then I say I try not to speak to people from a gender and race perspective or religion perspective, because I'm saying you're this, you should behave this way. And to me, that's dangerous. Yeah. So that's why I say I don't really want to touch that one.
I'm not saying it in the right way. I'm not, because if you hear it from...
No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying I'm a man. I have a penis. So I'm not going to say anything that you said, because that's going to get me smacked. I don't want to be smacked. I don't like that. I'd rather have a cup of coffee or something else, but I don't want to be smacked. No, I'm saying that there's wisdom in words that come out of everyone's mouth.
Yeah.
If we're willing to hear the wisdom and not kind of get led astray by the things we heard that we didn't like. So I'm just saying I'm not really going to touch it. I'll make some jokes, but I'll dance. Okay. Anyway, you guys, it's been an hour, so I got a firm stop. Listen, it's been an awesome conversation, ladies. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
That's nice,
I have a lot of things I got to process, and we didn't play an intro or an exit, so hopefully they don't take the video down, and that way I can go back and watch it and read the comments. Everybody else, thanks for joining in. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful Monday.
Bye, guys.
Bye.